This week's NA Last Chance Qualifier for Valorant Champions has been postponed until further notice. It's been a hell of a week. From whole regions being forced to forfeit their spots, from tech and COVID issues, all within 24 hours, the LCQ has become everyone's worst nightmare. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that we partnered with Bose to help create their newest Rule the Quiet social segments, which follows key storylines at Worlds, and they sent over these amazing headphones. So check it out in the link below. After Masters Berlin, the entire Valorant community, including myself, looked forward to the Last Chance Qualifier to see who was going to make it to Champions. This week would have been the absolute last chance for these teams to make it to Champions. There are no second chances after this tournament. It is literally do or die. However, it looks like these teams will have to wait to compete as Riot has announced they are postponing the entire LCQ. So how did we get here and what went wrong? The first surprise came before the LCQ. The region of Oceania would not be able to compete and would be forfeiting from the competition due to travel issues. The official statement from Riot read as follows. Due to COVID-19 regulations, travel documentation issues, and additional complex factors, we could not ensure that these teams could travel, compete in the event, and return home in a reasonable time frame. Thus, Order and Chiefs will not be attending LCQ. Dexerto reported that some OCE players had already begun to travel when the news hit and that Riot had not enough time to secure the players' travel to compete. Teams were approached about flights to North America ahead of the OCE Championship, giving Riot around 6 to 8 weeks to process it all, even if they hadn't qualified. This is a shorter time frame than Oceanic Org Peace were given for the League of Legends World Championship, with teams filing paperwork 3 months before qualifying. But in the week leading up to the cancellation, Riot administrators had not managed to secure exit exemptions for Australian players, despite Order and Chiefs telling Riot about their importance. So the NA and OCE LCQ became the NA LCQ. But the issues don't stop there. The teams that were not forced to forfeit their spots arrived in LA for the LCQ, and then the tech issues began. The Last Chance Qualifiers were expected to be an in-person LAN event, but the thing is, it's not LAN. In fact, they are using the regular Northern California servers. Yes, the ones us plebs use. So the players, they're in person, they're playing on this incredible stage, but they're playing using online servers. Being online obviously gives them a huge competitive disadvantage, and frankly, it is game-changing. You and I will never experience zero ping because we're not going to be pros, nor are we wired into the servers. These pros are competing with each other to find out who is the most deserving to fly to Berlin for Champions. It can be kind of hard to tell who deserves that spot when you don't have the most precise, accurate gameplay. 100 Thieves player Nitro tweeted in response to a question about why they were playing online, they don't have LAN servers for whatever reason. Not the end of the world, just interesting. And we're spiking sometimes. Drone's not coming out the first time, I threw a jet smoke and it threw 2 at once, etc. His teammate Asana replied to another tweet by Ethan saying that the inter-team comms included lagging, can't flash, and also lagging. The technical issues became incredibly obvious during the game between Xset and Luminosity Gaming. As Ye put it so eloquently on Twitter, LMAO, what is happening on the NA LCQ stream?
And 12 bullets to work with. He doesn't have the spike either, so he's going to have to either land the frags with 13 seconds left or get to...
10 seconds left.
God, I'm holding my breath here, Doug. I'm holding my breath. There it is. We're able to actually see that round play out.
I wasn't the only one taken aback by that moment. Take a look at Shazam's reaction.
It's Gen G, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Gen G's coach. He lagged
They
out.
like I'm dead.
I'm holding my breath here, Doug. I'm holding my breath. There it is. We're able to actually see that.
That's
round play
fucking
out.
horrible, dude.
How is
That's
he alive?
fucking horrible.
No, I've been watching the LCQ, and there have been lots of tech and gear checks. It's slowing down games, stalling matches. It's not fun for the viewer, nor the players. Corroborating the tech issues, Gen G player Temperature also tweeted that after a tech check, his keyboard was messed up. You might have thought there would have been a ruling to replay that round or even that map with all the tech issues. It would make sense considering that one round showed something was not up to par, but no such ruling was made. All games continued as if nothing had happened.
There wasn't even a discussion about it. I think they, second map or third map, I don't remember which, but they ended up doing like a tech pause to try and fix it, I think. And I think it kept happening still.
I feel for these players immensely. I cannot imagine the stress and pressure you must feel playing in the Last Chance Qualifier to make it to Champions, and then you're playing under these conditions where you're unable to play at your best and you did not expect to play under. To be blunt, it is absolutely unacceptable. Just that one clip shows that round could have changed everything. That 1v2 could have been clutched, but instead the round was lost and things were affected, like your econ, your mental, you name it. A protest said in that same interview that that specific lagging came at a crucial moment. Riot Games has responded to the negative reactions regarding the first day tech issues with the following statement. Since we started planning the NA LCQ earlier this year, our goal was to have a LAN event. Given stricter protocols for in-person events, we felt it was best in the interest of all to shift to a remote server should any players need to be quarantined. This would allow for teams to continue to compete and not bring a sub or be forced to forfeit. We recognize this virtual server is not the same as playing on LAN, however, we are diligently working on improving the remote server experience throughout the competition. Hiko told us in an interview that they expected it to be LAN and not online.
I think we all expected it not to be online servers. I think if we would have known, when we were talking about this tournament in general, that it was online servers, we probably would have caused a bigger stink than we did even just today on Twitter. But yeah, I think they told us the day we landed that we would be playing in online servers because of whatever the reason is. I know that me and a couple of my teammates were unhappy, and our coach actually reached out to the staff and said, hey, this is not cool, this is not okay, we need to fix this. And for the reasons they gave us, that unfortunately didn't really matter. It
should also be noted that the broadcast was 11 hours long. There were 3 series, and at most that should have taken 9 hours. A proto who was the cipher in that clip I showed you had this to say about the issues during the 1v2.
Oh, I was winning that. I'm very certain I was going to win that. And I double caged, I started walking stairs, and there's this ghost in front of me, and I just started shooting it, and then I realized the server just DC'd. And then everyone like spawned back in, and these 2 guys are just like to my left, both looking everywhere, and they just killed me.
Regardless of whether it was expected or not, it became obvious that the tech issues the players were facing became worse as the day dragged on. But the problems don't stop there. Buckle up for this one. To start, on October 6th, XsetDef tweets that he is flying to LA for the LCQ. Then on October 10th, he tweets that it's been a secret, but he tested positive for COVID, has since tested negative, and will be able to play with his team. Then on October 12th, after that match, he tweets that LA County has reached out to him and has asked him to isolate even after a negative PCR test. Something similar happened to Shanks, who plays for Rise. They flew to LA on the 7th, then tested positive on the 8th. He since deleted that tweet. Then he tested negative on the 11th and then was asked to isolate on the 12th. Finally, he tested negative again on the 13th, the day he was supposed to play on stage with his team. October 13th was supposed to be the day of the match between FaZe and Rise. And then we got news from the players that things were not going according to plan. Players were testing positive, being asked to quarantine and play from their own sole hotel rooms, and whole teams were asked to leave the stage and play the games from their own PCs at their home bases. It's a lot. Derek from Rise said that on October 13th, nothing against FaZe boys, but it's kind of none of them are playing on stage and are able to go home on NASA PCs, while only 4 members of Rise are on stage on LCS PCs, only 2 FaZe members tested positive. Shanks then tweeted the day of his match, in conclusion, forced to play and they at home, all good, time to lock in. To simplify this, 2 FaZe members tested positive and the entire FaZe team was asked to play from their home base. Rise would be playing on stage with 4 members while Shanks played the game from his hotel room. People were upset because the LCS PCs were just not up to professional standards, and FaZe being able to go home and play in their own PCs would give them a huge technical advantage. FaZe Rockets ended up streaming on the 13th and said Riot has been nothing but great. Rather, the fault lies with LA County protocols.
I don't think it's anything to do with, Riot's thing. I think it's all LA County protocols. Riot's been, nothing but understanding and, have shown, really good hospitality, to be honest. So I don't want anything negative to go, on their end at all, because, it's not been... I promise. I'm not just saying that to say that. They haven't done anything wrong. They've been, really nice to us, in my opinion, so... it's very weird. I was very surprised with how hospitable they've been. So, did the same thing happen to Dapper before Berlin? Why did that work out? I think it's due to the country's guidelines, right? Like Iceland. I think it was Iceland, not Berlin. That guy.
FaZe Baby Bay echoed that in a tweet saying, "I'm fully vaccinated. I tested negative multiple days in a row. I tested positive and then negative 10 minutes after. Can't play on stage and have to quarantine? LA COVID rules are different, bro." Shanks also streamed after all this, and
Hey guys, this is where I'm gonna be playing the LAN event from. On LAN, by the way. Stupid ass. This one's for one leaf.
On October 14th, Riot officially announced that they would be postponing the entire tournament until further notice, and it would return as a remote online event. The statement read as follows: "Given the events of the past few days, out of an abundance of caution and with the health and safety of all being in the top of mind, we have made the difficult decision to postpone the event until further notice. Player and staff safety remain our top concern as we navigate the current situation. We share the community's disappointment and we are working diligently to transition the LCQ to an online event similar to VCT matches earlier this year and resume play as soon as possible to send our final team to Valorant Champions." XBCJ tweeted in response to all of the discourse on Twitter about the event that this was not Riot's fault and the event has actually been going okay, all things considered. To BCJ's point about false positives, I like to compare it to a similar situation that happened before Iceland, before Masters 2. Dapper from Sentinels tested positive for COVID since he had recovered about a month earlier. Dapper tweeted the following: "The reason we were all stressed last week going into Iceland was because a week before we had to leave, I took a positive COVID test. The reason it was positive was because I had it a month prior and dead cells stayed in my body. Since then, I tested negative 3 times in a row." As we all know, Dapper went to Iceland with his team and won the entire event. How the f*** are all these people at LCQ testing positive? What you guys doing at the hotel? Don't read the replies to that tweet. Don't do it. I did it. You don't have to. As to what has happened so far, this event has literally been tragic on so many different levels. It's been incredibly disappointing to see the LCQ halted in this way. I'm sure the LCQ will continue soon enough and we'll be able to watch all the matches, but this still sucks for literally everyone involved. Competitors expressed their disappointment for not being able to play on stage at all. It must be incredibly upsetting to have an opportunity like the LCQ turn out like this. All in all, Riot is making the call to postpone the event for the health and safety of everyone. Whether or not the tests were false, no unnecessary risks should be taken that would put anyone there in danger of getting sick. When the event does return, let's just hope that the tournament can go ahead without all these recent difficulties. It is the very least these players deserve. Also, to the one person who said I looked like FaZe Baby Bay, what are you talking about? Can we do a side-by-side? Is it possible? Do I look like FaZe Baby Bay? I don't think I do. Like, granted, he's a handsome guy, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't look like this. Why are you saying
No, you don't. You don't. But sometimes, as with a lot of